Hi and welcome to A Spiritual Life's book club. This is book number 3 and this time we're doing it a little bit different. I am recording this one. The last 2 books we have gone live and the reason being is I'm filming this middle of November, and if you've followed me on my channel you'll know that we are looking to sell everything and move and live abroad and travel as a family. So we're thinking it could be imminent now, fingers crossed. So doing the live at the end of the month isn't going to work, and probably going forward. So I will be doing these. I'll still do them the last Monday of the month, but they will be recorded. But don't worry about that because you can still drop in your reviews in the comments and get involved in the community posts as well about it. So do still read along with us. I will also be looking to do these every other month now, purely for the reason I've just mentioned. So while we're adjusting to this new way of life, I'm just going to space these out a bit to give me a bit more time and space to read the books. So that's just a little bit before we start. If you haven't got your journal, you can grab that. I'll put it in the description. That's your copy of your journal that you can use to put all your stuff in, and everything, all your aha moments, everything that you've got from the books that we read, you can put it in your journal. So the book is Warrior Goddess Training by Heatherash Amara. Heatherash Amara. So I don't know if you've read it. Let me know. Start writing in the comments what you thought of it, and if you haven't read it, watch along and see if it's something that is of interest to you and something you might want to read in future, and you can still come back anytime and jot your reviews down. Now, the way I have been tending to do these, I write a lot of notes and I tend to go through chapter by chapter of all these aha moments. I will try and keep it short and sweet. I have highlighted some chapters that are more pivotal to me, but I do still want to go through some chapters, and most of the chapters, if not all of them, just to bring out some quotes and things that I think is relevant for you and the people that are on this channel. My channel is more about helping mindfulness for families, so I help the parents with the mindfulness tools that can bring it into the family. So this book, Warrior Goddess Training, is about getting that feminine energy and embracing that feminine energy, whatever gender you are, but predominantly it's the females that will have this energy buried deep down, and the males really. So everyone can benefit from this, but obviously I'm coming at it from a female perspective, and us mums often push this down to live in this very masculine world, and I do think that we need to embrace our feminine energies more, which is why I chose this book. So I was given this book. I normally do audiobooks. So I was given this book and I was like, oh, I'm not a very fast reader. Am I going to get through it quick enough? But I did, and I enjoyed it. I just took my time with it. So lots to go through. So let's get started. I'm going to tell you a bit more about the book here to start off. So the author's overview. It's no secret that women today are juggling a lot. Where's my cursor gone? We now make up half the workforce in the United Kingdom and are busier than ever with partners, children, family and friends, often putting the needs of others ahead of our own. And if we feel overwhelmed by it all or fall short of perfection, many of us have learned to be our own worst critic rather than our own best friend, right? That's where finding our warrior goddess comes in. In Warrior Goddess Training, best-selling author Heatherash Amara provides the antidote to the flawed idea that you are not enough. Direct, honest and unapologetic, Amara will show you how to release the layers of expectations to finally see yourself for the authentic, perceptive, perfect woman that you are. Drawing on wisdom from Buddhism, the Toltec tradition and earth-based goddess spirituality, the warrior goddess path includes personal stories, rituals and exercises that will encourage and inspire you to become the true warrior goddess you are meant to be. So that's an overview. If you're interested, stick with me and let's dive into it. So the chapters that stuck out the most for me were towards the back, the middle and the end, really. The chapters were Lesson 5, 7, 9 and 10. That's energise your sexuality and creativity, open your heart, embody your wisdom and choose your path. They were the ones that stood out the most personally for me, so I will go through them in a bit more depth, but I do just want to touch on all of them really. So just in the intro, which explains the terminology, when we bring our attention back to discovering who we are on the inside, not who we wish we were or who we think we should be, we begin a sacred path of transformation toward our innate, authentic, embodied power. This is the path of the warrior goddess. Warrior energy is a combination of focus, dedication, purpose, determination. Consciously bringing these things together gives us power. When we harness our warrior energy, we are confident, clear, and bringing 100% of ourselves, 100% or ourselves to each other. Goddess energy is a creative flow, unconditional love, pleasure, passion, and wisdom. When we claim our goddess energy, we live in joyful self-acceptance and respect, and we listen to our sacred inner voice. So let's just pause there. When I say the words creative flow, unconditional love, pleasure, passion, and wisdom, can you say that you live your life with those things? Or are we pushing them down? When we claim our goddess energy, we live in joyful self-acceptance and respect, and we listen to our sacred inner voice. Have we got time to do that? Have you got time to do that in your world, in your life, in your family home, where you can actually listen to your sacred voice? A story is something we tell ourselves or others to explain why we are the way we are. Our stories might be from inspiration or war and blame. The question to ask is this: is my story causing internal or external drama, or is it bringing me peace and fulfillment? So that's a big one. I think she does mention stories again later on, but yes, she does. The stories we tell ourselves are massive. You know, ask the question, is my story causing internal or external drama? Or is it bringing me peace and fulfillment? And we are the ones that can change that. That is our internal power. Okay, let's dive in a bit more. So lesson 1 is about commit to you. When we give others the power to push our emotional buttons, we become their slaves, often without realising it. The problem is we're the ones who suffer. So that's that giving our power away. And we often do this. As women, we often give our power away. Oh, okay, I'll do whatever you want. I'll get that done. Don't worry, I'll do it. We often say these things. Power has nothing to do with money, fame, or outside appearances, but with our connection to self-love, authenticity, and inner mystery of life. When we create a life based on what we think we're supposed to do, rather than from our own heart's desire, we always feel like something is missing, that we are not quite free. That's quite pivotal, isn't it? Not quite free. We're doing these things because it's what we think we have to do, what we're supposed to do, the way we're supposed to live our lives. And that traps us. We're not free. As you accept and honour yourself, you suddenly stop needing to be different, and you see the unique, perfect creation that you are. All of you is magnificent, even the parts you wish are different. And this book is really good about going into that. There's lots of exercises to do in the chapters, and it really goes into ways you can love all of you, without any shame or guilt. Lesson 2 is align with life, and I've just highlighted one here. Aligning with life means that you cannot control the cycles of nature. We cause our own suffering, not because life is so big and unpredictable, but because we are attached to our desire and expectations. Cyclical living teaches us to embrace the ups and downs of life, the balance of personal will and surrender. So cyclical living teaches us to embrace the ups and downs of life. Us as women have cycles, and within those cycles we have ups and downs. We feel great and on cloud nine one day, and generally 2 weeks later we feel the complete opposite, right? And it's embracing that. It's living in the cycles. It's knowing when we're not great or on full par, and communicating that to our partners, which again she goes into a bit more. Lesson 3, purify your vessel. So the vessel is a sacred container of awareness that holds all of you. Your mind, energy and emotions and physical body are all part of the vehicle for your spirit, or the invisible essence that is at your core. Your vessel houses your spirit, and your spirit cannot fully express if your vessel is burdened by things that don't serve you. You need to become aware of and consciously clear out all the beliefs, stories, fears, and general gunk that is clogging your system. So she goes into a lot with all that. I have got a video out on stories and the stories we tell ourselves. So that's worth looking at. I'll put that in the description and at the end for you to look at. She talks about ways to build a steady container, and you must be willing to, and then she lists about 12. So I'm just going to read 3 here that stood out for me. Soothe yourself when you are upset or scared. That stuck out. That was really relevant for me right now. Soothe yourself when you're upset or scared. If you've been following Living Our Best Life playlist, where all this drama is going on about us selling this house and doing the thing we want to do, the upset is real. The frustration is real. And I've been looking at ways to work with the nervous system and regulate it for myself and our family as a whole. And so soothing yourself when you're upset or scared. And the reason I was given this was a coach actually said she did some work with another lady, Dan, I can't remember who it was now, but about sort of the polyvagal theory kind of thing. And she asked me, what 3 things make you safe? So could you ask yourself that? What 3 things make you feel safe? I can't remember what I said now. I think it's a bath, massage. I said lying down. I said silence. As a busy mum, I said silence helps me feel safe, because I'm feeling, I don't know, perimenopause, whatever, but I'm feeling there's just too much noise. Like physically and metaphorically, just too much noise, too much buzz, too much something going on all the time. Whether it's household appliances, the noise of people, whatever it is, it's just too much noise. So for me to take myself out and have complete silence and do nothing in that silence, not even drink a cup of tea, not even do a meditation, but to do nothing. I've put that in this week's Mindful Mondays, is to go and do nothing. But another thing is to just lie down. I was finding, until I really read about it, that lying down flat on my back, I was just lying on the floor. When I was getting so uptight and triggered and upset or scared, I was lying on the floor and I was like, God, this feels nice. And I just did it. I did it out of, I don't know, like I intuitively knew that that's what my body needed and I needed. And I later found out that's one of the ways we do regulate, is to you're grounding, aren't you, when you're literally lying on the floor. But it's showing your body, you're quite exposed when you lie like that, aren't you? And it's showing your body that you're safe. And that's why breath work is so good, because if we can change our breath from shallow, spilling all over. If you can change your breath to sharp, shallow chest breathing, to nice deep belly breaths. It's giving your body a chance to say, actually, we're okay right now, we can rest. So soothe yourself when you're upset or scared. Put yourself out there and pursue your highest purpose. So this has been pivotal for me. This right now is what I feel at the minute is my highest purpose. Helping others use mindfulness tools the way it's helped me in my life and my family. So I just love this, and I love to talk. So I feel this is my calling, this is my purpose right now. Will it always be? Who knows? But right now, I enjoy this. I get a buzz from it. I come alive with it. So what's yours? Put yourself out there. Pursue your highest purpose. Doesn't have to be something like this. It can be anything from artwork. I mean, one thing I did is I got myself some roller boots with my girls. Just bought some cheap ones from the charity shops, and we went to a roller disco. We only did it once. But we loved it. So much fun, because I used to do that as a kid. I used to be on my roller boots all the time and make up dances and stuff. And weirdly, you know, however many years, 30 odd years later, and I didn't fall over. That was amazing. So find that joy and that purpose, and just get yourself out there. Stay present with yourself under stress. This is a big one. Stay present with yourself under stress. So at times of stress, allow whatever's there to be there. Don't distract. Don't reach for the chocolate. Don't yell. It's easier said than done, all this. Don't reach for a screen and distract from the pain and the hurt. Feel into it. So another video I've got is sit in your pain. So that might be one to look at. And then lesson 4, ground your being and free your past. So where have you rooted into others to create your sense of self, safety or belonging? Where have you rooted into others to create your sense of self, safety and belonging? So this is where you don't feel safe within yourself, and you don't feel like you belong to yourself, and you're constantly feeling like you have to fit in. And there's a quote from Brené Brown: if I can be me, I belong. If I have to fit in, if I have to be like you, I fit in. If I can be like me, I belong. If I have to be like you, I fit in. And that's really a big one to remember, even though I messed it up. But that's about what real, truly belonging is. People accepting you for who you are and not trying to fit in and be like others. So your parents or caregivers did not teach you your beliefs and to react in the world. As a kid, you were like a sponge, soaking in the information around you, which includes not just behaviours, but also the energy of those around you. So this is about how we're living. It's not do as I say, not as I do, which is often how we do live. You know, I'm going to tell you not to eat that rubbish, and then I'm going to go and eat that rubbish, you know, to your kids. This is being who you want your kids to be, because they get the energy from it. They can see it visually. And so it's not just verbally. And this is what I'm all about on this channel, because this is why I teach the parents. I don't do necessarily mindfulness for kids. I'll give you some tips that is child related, but I give tips to the parent so that they can put them into practice. Have connection and communication with your partner and then your kids. So you are not responsible for other people's actions. You are responsible for whatever agreements and beliefs you carry from your childhood experiences. So this is where we need to take responsibility for what we're bringing into our present moment. Mindfulness always been about the present moment. Bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. So if we're bringing our stories from our childhood into now, and relaying them and telling everyone about them, so they're embedding even more, then we're living in the past. And that's not what we need to do. We need to get rid of these. We need to really be aware and mindful of what stories we're telling ourselves, how beneficial they are. Are they serving us now as adults, or is this the little child? And that's how we can get rid of them. It takes work. I'm not saying any of this is easy. It might be simple. Mindfulness principles are simple, but they're not always easy. Lesson 5. Okay, so these are where they started to resonate with me. I was in two minds whether to go into depth on this one. And I think because I was in two minds, I decided to, yes, put myself out there and mention it, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. The title of this lesson is Energize Your Sexuality and Creativity. As I say that, instantly, what does that make you feel? Energize your sexuality and creativity. So again, in the era of perimenopause, sort of going through, we're going to come into this in a minute, but going from that mother archetype into the crone, sort of that kind of back end of motherhood, our energies deplete. We don't have the energy for sexuality and creativity. We haven't got the mind space because we're all cluttered with everything that's going on. We don't have any silence in our life or any downtime. So that's something that doesn't happen then, isn't it? We don't put sexuality and creativity at a high level. Generally speaking, it's a sweeping statement, I know. Let me know, though, if you're vulnerable enough to say anything on this topic. Please put it in the comments, because it's a difficult one, you know. Is it the first thing that goes when you feel tired and angry and upset? Or can you work around it and still be able to bring that sort of energy into your life? Two areas to attend to around your sexuality are your body image and fear of power. If you are ashamed of your physical form, this can have an impact on your connection to your sexual flow. There's a few things she's given you here. I'm just going to read through them. Run sexual experiments. Feel into what you would like to explore in your sexuality, and then design an experiment. Creativity is a big factor here. Don't hold back. Growing your sexual capacity and pleasure will bring more creativity, vibrancy, and joy into every aspect of your life. So she's saying, if we can be more free sexually, and it's either with yourself or with the partner, then you're going to bring in more joy and creativity. It's how the body works. It's that flow. It's that the energy centers are opening up, right? Conscious creation. Your sexual energy is your creative flow. And when you choose to channel it, everything becomes your art. You can bring more vitality and heat into your activities when you let your sexual life force energy flow through your hands and your heart. And then something she says here to do is cultivating creativity. Think of a current problem, breathe into your lower belly, and think of 5 creative solutions to your problem with no limit on how realistic they have to be. So the masculine likes to put things in boxes and strategize everything, and that's sort of that analytical mind. And that's sort of where I've lived in and come from. Talk about childhood. You know, I was from a very masculine home. My grandma had masculine energy. My mum had very masculine energy, but very much fire. So I didn't see what that feminine was like. And so think of 5 creative solutions to your problems with no limit on how realistic they have to be. We're constantly told that things have to be this way and fit into this box. But when we come into that feminine energy, we start to flow a bit more, and we start to say, what if it wasn't in the box? What if it looked like this? What if dancing looked like being a kid again? You know, like Phoebe from Friends, and when she's running and she runs like this, and Rachel's like, what's going on? And then in the end, she does it because it's fun. That episode really is pivotal, like, you know, really shows you that, you know, Rachel's like, why are you running like that? She's so embarrassing. And she's like, well, why are you running like that? It's so boring. Try my way and see what you think. And she does, and she loves it. And next thing you see, Rachel is running down like this. It's fabulous. I think, one thing I would like to do when I get more lives going and community going and things like that is to have us all dancing and not be ashamed to just dance. Like if we're doing a Zoom call, I'll say, put your own music on and dance for 3 minutes to your own music. So we'll all have different beats, different genres, whatever, but put your favourite tune on at the minute and dance. And we'll see each other dancing. And we might be a bit to start, but by the end of it, we're more free and flowing. And that is, in my eyes, the epiphany, is that the right word? The point, the pinnacle of feminine energy, just to be you without shame, guilt, blame, all this stuff that's piled on us. Just to be more expansive, even the way you sit and hold yourself, So that was lesson 5. Lesson 6, there are many ways to create a false sense of safety. The topic is claim your strength and ignite your will. There are many ways to create a false sense of safety. Trying to control or manipulate our environment, which is controlling, and feel safe when they are in control of the world around them or their own internal world. Bouncing from thing to thing, so distracting. I talk about this a lot on our channel. We distract with our screens and everything rather than feel what's really going on. Keep themselves safe by being busy and checked out. So this is how we all create this false sense of safety. Hiding and pretending to be small, which is isolating. Hide when they are scared or in an uncomfortable situation. Making sure others like us, so people pleasing. And believe they will only be accepted and safe when they are helping others. So that's a common one nowadays. The purpose of these core strategies is to keep the world manageable and to create a sense of safety and stability. So for me, that is, I've done videos on this about control. And why do we control? Because if things don't go our way, then it falls onto us to fix it. And we get into that fix it mind. Well, what if we just lived a bit more like our kids, with more joy and less seriousness and just a bit more light and expansive, more in our feminine energy? Would it be the end of the world? I keep telling myself this, because if the kids don't go to bed bang on, is it the end of the world? If they don't eat the vegetables, is it the end of the world? We constrict and restrict around everything and controlling. And in fact, all the way through mindfulness, what does it teach us? It's that we're suffering when we get like that in this mindset. We suffer. So spend a day noticing which strategy you use without judgment. So do you use controlling, distracting, isolating, or pleasing, or more than one? Number 7 then, this is another one I starred, open your heart. So for me, when it comes to this, I'm all about open heart. I talk about heart a lot, moving from head to heart, all this. But I think when I'm triggered or things aren't going my way or things aren't, controlling things and it's not going my way, then I might shut my heart off and go into that more defensive place. And what we need to train ourselves to be in the more feminine is to keep that heart open. So we might just realise, this is how I would normally respond to this, and just say things like, does it really matter? Can I let that go? Can I keep my heart open? Or do I have to get triggered by it and shout every time and close my heart off? So she's put fear, which is in the mind, and love, which is in the heart. So I've actually, a long time ago now, when I did a different channel, I did a picture and it said love over fear. Always love over fear. Fear is in the mind. This is how you know the difference. Fear is in the mind and love is in the heart. So if something's telling you not to do something, is it out of fear? Could you do it from a place of love? Would it be okay to still do it? What is it that's stopping you? So how we protect our heart? Physically, rounding shoulders and sinking chest in. Emotionally, closing down our access to feelings for fear of pain. Then we distract, isn't it? Because we don't want to get into the emotions. Mentally, believing we can be broken or destroyed unless we stay isolated. This type of protection gives us the illusion that we are in control and safe, but we're not. When we link our survival to whether we are lovable or dwell on possible physical pain, we stay in fight or flight mode. So when we link our survival to whether we are lovable or dwell on possible physical pain, we stay in fight or flight mode. We are constantly on survival, high alert for rejection, abandonment, or potential pain. When we shift to our heart's wisdom, we always know that we are held, loved, and supported by the universe, even if we are struggling in this moment. The mind can then rest into the heart and help us calm our nervous system down or find creative solutions when we feel threatened. Loving your inner judge and victim. So this is a big one for me. The warrior goddess invites you to love these parts of you too. Compassion is the key here. Love these voices as part of you, but no longer believe in them. And practice metta or loving kindness. So I have this in my my mindfulness course. Let me just have a drink. Metta or loving kindness meditation, I believe, came about from a lady, Sharon Salzberg. I believe she brought it about. And it's about saying specific phrases. I actually haven't written them down. I don't think I have. It's basically, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be safe, may you be free from suffering. So those 4 phrases, you say them to yourself, to someone you love, to someone you don't know and are quite neutral about, and then to someone who you don't like and disagree with and clash with. Difficult relationships. So may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be safe, may you be free from suffering. I think that's them. And you say them and let them sit and how you feel with them. That is a really good one to do. And you might find if you're too much in this wounded feminine energy, where you don't give yourself enough praise, love, trust, appreciation, you might find the one to yourself is the hardest one. Giving yourself all that might even be harder than giving it to even the people that you love. So giving to people you love or neutral might be quite easy, but putting it onto you would be quite difficult. So give that one a try and see what you think of that one. Lesson 8, speak your truth. Do you really want to look back on your life and see how wonderful it could have been had you not been afraid to live it? So this has been my theme from all the last 5 Mindful Mondays that I've done. It's been the theme, the 5 regrets of the dying. And the reason I brought that up to be the focus for the week ahead, and number 1 regret of the dying being I regret that I didn't live the life my way. So do you really want to look back on your life and see how wonderful it could have been had you not been afraid to live it? So why are you afraid to live your life? Life's too short. We say this often, life's too short. But it's almost like that phrase is just said now. And one day I just went, if I'm not living my life my way now, then I might never. And then I've wasted my life. And it just really hit home. We've lost 3 out of our 4 parents. me and my husband, all in the early 60s. So we know life is short, but let's live like life is short. Don't be scared or in fear of death or what could be around the corner and say you're going to live later when the kids leave home or whatever. You need to do it now. For the time that we've got, all we can guarantee is now. Make inroads, do something. You don't have to do something as elaborate as what we're doing, but make inroads so that you're feeling like you're living your life and you're not going to look back on your deathbed and think, I wish I'd done that. So you have more regrets about the things we didn't do than the things we did do. So have a think on that. When you do not speak your truth, you either hold it inside or placate others. You often end up creating resentments against yourself and others. When these resentments towards others build up, we sometimes explode in a venting of emotions and judgment in an unconscious or punishing manner, very wounded masculine. When this occurs, you are not speaking from a place of love, but rather from your wounds and hurt, often not realising you're part of the situation, which was that you did not communicate how you really felt in the first place. So you've got to take onus here. When we're not speaking our truth because we're trying to fit in, we're causing our own suffering. We need to speak our truth in our feminine energy, in our feminine power, and say, put our boundaries in. That's not acceptable. Or I can't do that, I'm sorry, not this time. Ask me again. It's the way we speak it. It doesn't have to be in this wounded masculine shouting energy. It can be in this gentle but yet powerful feminine energy of, this is how I'm seeing this situation. Can we talk about it? My main two strategies are pleaser and controller. So I ask myself, did I really say what I meant to say? Was I saying that to get a specific outcome or prevent a specific outcome? The fastest way to create discomfort or resentment in your life is to say yes when you mean no. Because you end up resenting you. Because you're the one that could have said no. But we're too afraid of what that other person might say or think. Lesson 9. So these last two lessons were the big ones for me. So embody your wisdom. So at the beginning of each chapter, she gives a quote from some people, famous people. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honours the servant and has forgotten the gift. That's Albert Einstein. When we are out of touch with our intuition, we often get fixated on the physical forms, and as a result, our lives either grown very dull or stressful, or we get consumed by wanting to succeed on the physical plane. Intuition comes from a place of love, not fear. So tune in. When you're feeling fear, tune in. Is this really an ego thing to keep me safe, a true ego thing, or is it fear? Mind versus intuition. Intuition is a feeling, not a thought. And as the feminine energies, we are really good at having that, but we're not really good at always tuning into it. So it's having the power to put the boundaries in again, isn't it? And saying, I need my space because I've got a lot on my plate right now and I need to decompress. I need time and space to know my next move instead of just quickly jumping from thing to thing. I found that for many women, intuitive knowing is strong, but our capacity to trust ourselves is weak. Balanced Warrior Goddess contains all three aspects of this divine feminine trinity, blending the best qualities of maiden, mother, and crone. The mother archetype is powerful but often feels undervalued, overstressed, and drained. But the mother aspect of the feminine, but but the mother aspect of the feminine, because we have learned to mother everything at the expense of ourselves. So as the mother archetype, what they're saying there is, as the mother archetype, we often put other people first, and we see that as being the mother, the nurturer, putting others first, but it's not. The mother archetype is nurturing, but we've got to nurture ourselves as well. Invitation to step up and make friends with the power of the crone. So now we're going into that older age, the older part of life. Go beyond the fear of your power. Let go of trying to be non-threatening little girls or exciting sexpots, and releasing the habit of putting everyone else without including our needs, or putting everyone else first without including our needs. It's time we claim our innate crone wisdom. So yeah, society has brought it all to the maiden. Young women, young girls, society wants to see that. And society's then made a lot of money out of the industry to make everyone want to be in the maiden all the time. But what we're saying here is embrace where you're at. Embrace the stages, because they have their own values, their own real powerful values. Crone energy, the silent knowledge, transcends our intuition. When we connect with silent knowledge, we erase the boundary between these two worlds of spirit and matter, known and unknown. We step beyond duality, beyond right and wrong, beyond rules, and into absolute connection with all that is. So again, she's listed a few things you can do. I've just highlighted a few. So take an hour to be silent this week. That was the Mindful Monday for this week, currently, on the 17th of November. That went out today, actually. Coincidentally, I didn't do it based on the book. But yeah, take an hour to be silent in the week. Several times a day, stop multitasking. When you are eating, just eat. When you are talking on the phone, just talk. So this is mindfulness in daily life principles. Bringing attention to the present moment without judgment. So instead of going, oh, I hate washing up, does my head in this, and giving the stories and the grudge and the victim mentality, can you have the sacred in the mundane, is what I call it. The sacred in the mundane being, where's the joy in the mundane things? To bring the mundane things alive. Because one day it might be the small things that you really appreciate. So for me, we're not going to have our own house. We're going to live somewhere, aren't we? But, to say this is mine and this is mine, we're not going to have that. But I don't see that as a problem, actually, because that's about attachment, isn't it? Number 3 that I've highlighted is make agreements and clear boundaries with children, partners and friends around when you will be in silence. So I used to do meditation retreats, where it would be silent for a whole week. And then you come back to the real world and it's very stimulating at first. I came back from one of them and I had to go via a busy train station to get home, and that was overwhelming. You've just had this week of quiet and silence to this like neon lights and all sorts. It was like Blackpool on steroids in this train station, wherever it was. It's good to have these boundaries in place. It's good to say to your family, having some quiet time, or you are going out for an afternoon to a course or something, or a women's circle. When I come back, can you make sure not to jump on me, or you know what kids are like, but can you just help me readjust back into our family home? You're not saying for everyone to be walking on tender hooks for you, but on eggshells and things. But it's about allowing the respect, and you're not going to get that unless you have used your voice, truth, and your boundaries. And then Oh, yes. So these archetypes that I found really interesting, the first time I'd really heard about them was in another book that I'd read, which is called Your Soul Had a Dream, Your Life Is It by Rebecca Campbell. And that speaks about these archetypes a little bit more. So if you want to go into more of that with the maiden, the mother, the crone, then check her out. And finally, the lesson number 10, choose your path. So the quote that she used at the beginning of this chapter by Anis Nin, life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. So this is it, find that soft but powerful strength within you, in your feminine energy, to go forward and do what you're meant to do. Stepping into your warrior goddess power means letting go of who you have been before, so you can experience who you are once you are freed from old definitions and perceptions. I'll read that again. Stepping into your warrior goddess power means letting go of who you have been before, so you can experience who you are once you are freed from old definitions and perceptions. And it's about shedding a skin. It's like being a snake and shedding a skin, and we are in the year of the snake still. But it is about shedding the skin and finding out who you're always meant to be underneath. It's not who you're becoming. It might be who you're becoming to the outside world, but you're remembering who you are underneath. That has always been there, but the layers of fear and wounding energies is all gone on top. And the key is, once you are on the warrior goddess path, you realise you have a choice. You are no longer a slave to other people's ideas about how you should live your life, nor are you trapped by your outdated belief system. You are becoming the woman you want to be, which is synonymous with who you are meant to be. Avoid creating a rigid definition of who you should be and then using it to beat yourself up for not being it, or having no direction and wandering without purpose, making choices by default. So it's saying, you could be creating this path. Okay, I want to be more this. I'm going to start making inroads. I'm going to do this. And then when it doesn't happen, it's like anything. And then you might beat yourself up. I'm that way. So I highlighted that part of that sentence, using it to beat yourself up for not being the way you want to be. Or you could go the other way, or having no direction and wandering without purpose, making choices by default. Well, you're not in your strong feminine then, are you? By just letting things happen. There was a story in the book which actually brought a tear to my eye. It was about, she took a group to the pyramids in Mexico, and we're going to do an offering that she's done before with flowers and water, like a ceremony, and celebrate the four directions and things like that. But when she's been before, there was a lot of people at the top of this pyramid or at this pyramid, and she got the vibe that people were hurrying her up, and because they would take up some space and they wanted to be where they were, and she felt rushed. So she said, in this particular time, I'm gonna have to rush. And so I said, she even said, don't get comfortable, we're not gonna stay here long. She did her thing, she did a ceremony, and she closed her eyes and everything, but she felt the energy shift. She felt the people around, the strangers, the passerbyers, listening in. And she's doing this offerings and pouring this water, and she could sense everybody was getting closer and wanted to be a part of it. So she said to the people she was with, okay, let's do this. So she was passing the water around, the flowers around, and it became a massive, I've got goosebumps revisiting that story. And she passed it all around to the whole community in this place that felt they were part of something and enjoyed it and embraced it, and strangers just hugging and children coming up, and it was just where we want and need to be, right, in the world. So she didn't feel rushed, she didn't feel pressured. she felt seen and heard and valued, and like she was being of service to people and helping people feel that energy, that nurturing, that's nurturing energy. So that was a big powerful story in the book. I don't know what you thought of that. And then lastly, I'm going to just read the epilogue because it really did, again, brought a tear to my eye, because it's the vision of what the feminine energy, the warrior goddess, is all about. And I just loved how she worded it all. So as I woke up this morning from a dream, I thought of you. I imagined sitting across from you, warrior goddess to warrior goddess, holding both your hands in mine, looking into your eyes and saying, I believe in you. I see your beauty. I see your gifts. I have faith in you. Even though I may not know you personally, I know you are worthy of love. I know you are a gift to humanity. I know you probably need a dedicated cheerleader, a loving advocate. I know there are times when maybe you should not take yourself so darn seriously. I know without a doubt that you are important and valuable. I know you are me and I am you. We are healing, growing, loving, falling down, getting back up again. We are women. We are a force that can change the world. In my dream, all women recognise their worth, their wisdom, the healing power of their laughter. We hold hands across nations, across religions, across divisions. And we reach out to invite every child, every man, every single being, regardless of gender or belief or experience, to hold hands with us. We weave a web of acceptance, respect, love and forgiveness. And then we get to work celebrating life, dancing through our fears and nurturing the sassy spark within each of us. Be a warrior goddess. Keep cleaning. Keep living the warrior goddess lessons. And then she goes into all the names of the lessons. So commit to you, align with life, purify your vessel, ground your being and free your past, energize your sexuality and creativity, claim your strength and ignite your will, open your heart, speak your truth, embody your wisdom, choose your path, repeat. Keep saying yes to yourself and let the nectar of your yes overflow so others can find their unique divine yes. Be an inspiration. Be yourself. Wouldn't that be a lovely world, eh? So let's make inroads where we're not beating ourselves up as women. We're finding our space, we're finding our energy, we're finding our power within, and we express it in a soft, gentle, but strong way. Okay, so just to go through my journal prompts that are in the journal, the free guide journal that you can go and download. The aha moments, so like I mentioned, lessons 5, 7, 9 and 10 were me. What did you like about the book and why? I enjoyed the book with the author's stories and examples. It made it relatable. I personally found the last couple of chapters more pivotal. They resonated with my age and experiences and how to change my beliefs. Gives good practical exercises within the chapters, and the book flowed well from each chapter. What didn't you like about the book and why? I didn't fully enjoy the writing style, but that is just my interpretation. That said, it still was very easy to read. How would you summarise this book? This is a great book if you are looking to let go of your masculine style of old beliefs and stories of yourself and instead bring your attention to the less known feminine version of yourself, male or female, that society pushes away. The chapters flow well from one another to the next with nice examples and stories. There are plenty exercises to delve into the areas that you feel that you need to spend more time on. Would you recommend this book? Yes, I would recommend. It flowed well, it was easy to read, there's good examples, and I was left feeling empowered. I loved the last few chapters. Would you read another book from the author? I've put yes, possibly. And what is your rating? I've given it a, drumroll, a 4, giving it a 4 star. So that is it. That is that book. I hope you enjoyed it too. Please do put it in the comments if you have read it, or if this has inspired you to read it, let me know. I was doing them live, like I said at the beginning, and every month. But I think going forward now, until stated otherwise, I'm going to do them every other month, and there will be videoed, they will be recorded. But I will still put them on the last Monday of the month that we're doing it. So the next one, we'll miss December, and we'll be back on the 26th of January 2026. And for the next book, I've got a list of books that I want to read, but I thought I'd give you the option. So I'm going to put a poll out on my community space. I don't know how many I'll choose from, but I'll put them out there in the next few weeks so we can get looking at what we want to do next, which book we want to read next, and you can decide. In the description box, I'll have the videos, links for the ones mentioned, labels and stories. I think I did mention another one in there, but it's gone out my head. The link is in there for the journal. So if you want your copy of the journal to write your notes in, and my link to my monthly newsletter is in there. That's only monthly newsletter, so I don't bombard you, but it's like a magazine subscription, something that you want to open, gives you lots of tips with mindfulness for families, and it's the first Sunday of the month, so that's coming up. So sign up to that if you want that, and check out my Ko-Fi page for free guides, digital products and donations. And check out my page and consider subscribing for anything to do with mindfulness and families. I've got teaching videos, vlogs of me doing the work, and Mindful Mondays as well. So check all that out, and until January I'll be back with the book club, but I'm here every week on my channel uploading all that stuff, so do come along and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, much love, bye for now.